today's Spotlight video, we're here with James Bateman. So James was an England U18 boys assistant coach, and this season has been promoted into the head coach role. For this Spotlight, we're going to really be delving into co-coaching. So I was part of his coaching group for this session, and we're going to talk a lot about how we prepared for the session in advance, what we talked about during the session, and how we debriefed after. With a real focus on making sure that we all knew our roles within the session, you know, who was going to lead which practices, what each person was going to make coaching points on, so that the coaching was really concise and the players came away with a really consistent message. So I hope you enjoy this YouTube version. If you'd like an extended video, then you can find it on the coach members area on Hockey Hub for those of you who are coach members, or if you're not, you can always sign up for the coach membership to access that content.
So today we were thinking about, as a team, what did we want to discuss with James, and we were thinking about coaching as part of a team, and in particular where you have perhaps co-coaches, perhaps a group of specialists. How are you getting the best out of them, and also how are they able to get the best out of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting through the different roles that I hold. So when I work at Nottingham, I'm the head coach, and I work with an assistant coach, a manager, an S&C coach, a physio, a nutritionist and a psychologist, and a performance analyst as well. So I manage that whole program and sort of support them in what roles they need to do and how they deliver onto that. And then when I come in an England environment, I'm the assistant coach. So Mark is the head coach, and again we have a physio that works with us, a manager, S&C coach, nutritionist and a psychologist as well. So it depends in terms of the roles that I sit of. Am I leading the programme and organising those parts of it, or am I cog within it and supporting? So yeah, different perspectives depending on which hat I'm wearing on different days.
And Steph, you've had a lot of work all really across the different kind of age groups and talent groups as well. What sort of co-coaching environments do you have?
Multiple. Yeah, quite a lot of the environments that I've been in has been me as responsible for the session, the planning, the design, the delivery, with potentially every now and then other people to come and help, but with varying levels of experience, I suppose, is one thing. And you know, my environment is very much like club environment, school environment, where it's probably a little bit faster paced in terms of get on the pitch, get the kids going, get them involved as quickly as possible. We don't necessarily have the luxury of time of being able to sit and have a coffee with the people that you're going to be doing the pitch session with. And so communication and defining roles either sometimes actually gets missed, or it's on the fly on the hockey pitch whilst they're doing a warm-up or something like that, being like, are you okay to do this? Are you okay to do that? Or what are your thoughts here? So probably a little bit more, in the moment rather than pre-planned.
But what do you think are the really important parts of that planning when you've got a team out to look after a session?
I think it's really interesting that we don't often, I think Steph referenced there and having the luxury of time, that we always feel we don't have enough time because we're camp based and we don't see them as regularly. So we look at when we set our roles and responsibilities across on it. So before the programme starts over the summer, we'll discuss in terms of what are the key responsibilities for different people. So within an 18s environment, Mark's the lead coach and I assist with it, but we define roles of who's responsible for which bits. Previously I've been responsible for out of possession and penalty corner attack, and then Mark's been responsible for in possession and penalty corner defence. Because we've been doing this a few years now, we've switched over roles just to keep us fresh and keep a new lens on it to bring different ideas. So in this cycle I've switched over to being focused on in possession, and he's focused on out of possession, and we've kept the corners the same. So we have real clear responsibilities of what we're looking at within that across the whole programme and across the whole cycle. So then we'll go into when camps are being planned, we'll have different areas that we need to focus on. So within a camp block that we've got, we'll do some sessions that are our core practices, some that will be real defence focused, some that will be real attacking focused, and then we'll take a lead on those particular areas that we're focused on.
Very crafty from Hainsey. Oh yeah. Sorry lads, I couldn't do all the testing, but hockey I'm ready. Right, so we're going to go into 3 rotations. Sloan is going to work on some ball carrying with you. Hunty's going to work on a little bit of receiving skills, and I'm going to work on scoring goals. Okay lads, so real simple as it's coming through. The general rule for here, it'll be one player that's scoring goals. If the ball comes from an orange cone, so 1, 2, and 3, you're scoring in that goal. If the ball comes from a blue cone, so 1 and 2, you're scoring in this goal, okay? So it's a nice simple rotation as we go through. I will score 5 goals as we come into it. So I get a ball from Hainsey to start us off, receive across the body, I shoot at goal, then the next ball comes in across onto here for me to score into this place. Then I turn around for a hit to be delivered. That's not a hit. Show me a hit. So a hit comes in for me to just get a little tip in into here. I then roll across to this space where I receive the ball and I get it in the hook for a floor to score. Then I get a little shaft shot for me to score into that bit. Then I'm done and I come out. Okay, so lots of opportunity for us to score goals. Yeah, so we're really practicing the different techniques for scoring goals. So we're looking at the hit, we're looking at how we can deflect the ball in our 1 versus none position, and then we're also looking at how we can score a shaft shot and when we get nice and tight into the goal. So a real opportunity for us just to practice lots of skills in a short period of time.
So again, coming back to those rest periods or when they were subbing in and out, there was lots of conversations happening. Well, I think they were they were having lots of conversations around those bits on how we pick it up.
Yeah, definitely. I think the slight trap I think that coaches can potentially fall into is that so when you talked earlier about being explicit about in possession, out possession, or a particular phase of the game or part of the game, is then that doesn't necessarily then mean that the coaching style of those coaches during the session needs to be the same. So what we'd often see is in possession coach, out possession coach, both kind of stood together, watching, maybe chatting together, wait 10 minutes, and then group discussion, each person give their points. Whereas actually, I think we can definitely be more explicit, as you say, with actually within the session. It's different. I'm going to maybe make sure the practice is running properly. I'm going to score. I'm going to go and have individual conversations. So the practice might be an in-possession practice, so therefore as the in-possession coach you want to be the one running it, leading it, making sure it's going well, and actually that gives the out-of-possession coach the opportunity to have smaller, frequent individual feedback rather than them taking up a lot of the time in the group discussions. The group discussion can be in-possession focused. So definitely there's a lot more to scope there, I think, for how coaches work together within sessions.
Once you're done, you come out to me. So think on that first bit, receive across the body. So see there, CJ gets it across the body. And then when we're scoring on the shaft shot, you want to make sure we're facing the goal. We don't want to hit it on the backhand on the last one.
I wanted it there, he's put it there.
But it's got to think how we might need to adjust onto that spaces. Yeah. Good, next one, shaft shot, shaft shot. So just thinking around on your shaft shot, where you plant your foot so you can really get it in the hook, so you can really turn around onto it. Then we'll get a lot more joy from it. So think around your positioning of where you are in relation to the goal. So when we're actually into those positions, are we beyond the goalkeeper to be able to score, or are we inside the goalkeeper? Okay, so let's think around that bit.
And Ian, I was thinking, so whilst we've been here over the time, you were doing some work with James yesterday with the boys under 18s and working as part of the team. I wonder what reflections did you have after working in that sort of setup for the day? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the thing that really stands out to me that I haven't seen as much before is that sort of shared responsibility. What I see a lot of, I suppose more traditionally in club environments or school environments, is a lead coach, and they almost take it upon themselves to be the person that's driving everything, coaching everything, giving all of the coaching points. Whereas actually yesterday, I'm pretty fortunate to have a large group of people helping and supporting, but using each person to their maximum ability and getting the best out of them. And making sure that everyone's engaged, whether that's leading the session, whether that's having individual interactions, scoring, umpiring. There's a lot that go on to make sure a session is running smoothly, and just mixing up those roles and giving people different responsibilities throughout the sessions.
How quickly we're able to take away their most dangerous option is a really dictating if we're able to then not concede or we're able to then get another transition ourselves. Okay, when we sort of are too quick to jump to, I need to get pressure on the ball, leaving someone behind me who's a more it just accelerates the attack. Okay, so sometimes actually staying with, letting that player have to carry it themselves is actually a bit slower than them being able to get it to the next guy, better get it to the next guy. So does that make sense? So taking away the threat, even if it feels a bit uncomfortable, letting a player carry for a bit longer, okay? Number one is make the problem obvious. So you can't stop everything, but making it obvious what you are stopping and what you aren't stopping is massively helpful to everyone else in your team. So I'm stopping ball to top D. I'm not able to stop ball to the line, but my teammates can see that, they know that, they're ready to stop that. Okay, at the moment it's too guessing behind because we're a bit too like bit in front, not quite stopping this, not quite stopping this, and we're having to chase a lot in behind.
Yeah, you want to avoid the stereotype, don't you, of head coach makes 3 to 5 key points and then, guys, anything? Okay, off we, and then like we're off. Like I think that opportunity, exactly as you say, like recognising the gaps in any session, you know, even if it's just someone sort of wait, little bits and pieces here. I think good coaching isn't always noise. So when, you know, recognising those moments and those gaps and seeing opportunities to speak that aren't just at a moment when there's a pause, I think as well. I also think as a head coach, and I've had this discussion a lot with some of the people coming through ACPs and the coach courses, is particularly with volunteers, is we don't want to burden our co-coaches or our assistant coaches because we don't want to put pressure on them because they're volunteers and they're kindly giving up their time. I also challenge that of empower them, you know, show us that actually their views on this are really, really clear.
Yeah, and I think if I think back to my coaching journey when I started, I was like 15, 16 years old starting as a coach, and so if I think about moments where actually you're thrown in at the deep end a little bit, is probably like your sink or swim moments. And if we want coaches to develop confidence, and I know that a lot of conversations that we have with volunteers, parents who are, call them voluntolds because they're on the side of a hockey pitch, so like, come and join in. But one of the things is I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. So even if the information that you give them might not necessarily be really hockey specific, but it might be just be like, if you see something good, because you could probably tell the difference of what is a successful pass, what is an unsuccessful one, or a good tackle, or a missed tackle, or whatever it might be. Just go in and give that person a pat on the back, because that's one thing that I find really challenging in big sessions, school groups, club sessions, is as the lead coach in that environment, being able to get round everybody and give somebody a bit of love and giving them a pat on the back and things like that is really challenging. You get off the pitch and you're like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. So I think even if people aren't necessarily totally confident about what the hockey is, we can still encourage people to give positive feedback, or like you said, put them in charge of fist bumps and high fives at the very least, and that then might open up some nice conversations with players, I think.
I think it's given those volunteers a bit of confidence in what they're doing.
Totally.
If you just support them across, if you just throw them in and they're a mum or a dad who's not really seen hockey and say, could you umpire this for me? That's quite intimidating and quite scary. But if you give them a simple bit of going, can you just record the goals that come through, and then you can slowly build their confidence. So maybe next week they come back and go, oh, can I do this bit a little bit? And then you can give them a little bit of advice of, if you see this, celebrate it. And if they make a successful pass, let's go crazy and enjoy that, and then slowly build the volunteers' confidence up that a season's quite a long time, that by the end of the season they could then start to have the confidence to run a session or a little part of it and saying real clear parameters of what we want you to do. But I think if you throw them straight into that, it's quite scary, isn't it? You're like, oh my goodness, I don't know this sport and now I've got to do it. But if you just do small stepping stones, exactly the same as you would in coaching a session, it's just coaching your coach to get there as well. And it's something we don't always think about, that in those environments when you're the lead coach and you're there with 30 kids on a Sunday morning and you're like, how am I going to manage this? Of just asking for a little bit of help and then upskilling them to be with you, I think can really help you with where you want to get to.
James, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. Thanks everyone for watching as well.